Hello, I'm Jamie. This is TradeSpotting. We're going to do an update on GameStop. We're going to look at SPY. That's the overall market, S&P 500. We're also going to check in with VIX, which is the volatility index, and give us a picture of what sort of a move we might be able to anticipate in either direction. And the charts, of course, will hint at which direction. So let's get into it. Thanks very much for watching. Hit the like button. And this is the chart. Starting off, GameStop. Tiny time frames here, 15 minutes, where you can see potentially this head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. That gives us a measured move from the head to the neckline. Neckline is also the top side of this triangle. So we're going to go through the measured move. This is Bulkowski's technical analysis, what he contributed to the body of knowledge that is technical analysis. That gives us a measured move that takes us back down to 1541. 1541 hourly time frame, rocky outcrop flash. We already knew the price was going there, right? We told you the price was going there when it went up. So it's amazing how these things all come together, don't you think? Anywho, back down to this tiny whiny itsy bitsy 50-minute time frame. 15 simple, going through 200 period moving average, price below. Likely what you're going to see now is price action having escaped from the top side of the channel. Or the previous formation. This is apex. Will approach shortly, but support line on this previous triangle, it's the previous formation. So you're going to return to the far side of the previous formation. That's displacement, which Rocky and I also added to the body of technical analysis. So contributing great things here, expanding on this such fantastic body of knowledge that can really change your life and social mobility from trading. It's a ridiculous, right? So you've got this head and shoulders, you've got measured move, you've got displacement, TM, rocky outcrop, and you've got the potential moving average cross on the 15-minute time frame. So it is very possible you come back and test those levels, at which point I'd anticipate a bounce because there's an awful lot of confluence with that target. There's also a previous level of resistance. So I'll anticipate that being support at this level. 1541. Not long term necessarily, but it is a good option. Price action still maintains this bullish formation, continues back to the top side, and subsequently breaks 17. I'd be very enthusiastic, especially if it opens, closes on a 4-hour time frame up there. It'd be fantastic. But I don't necessarily anticipate that. I am hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. The worst is it breaks in at around 1541, tests down towards the basis line of this overall sloping channel in at around 1450, and then it could easily go through the failure of the elasticity. Another technical analysis addition to the body of knowledge added by Rocky Outcrop and I. So if you are looking at a complete breakdown and a failure of this move, which is very possible because you've got 3 touches of bearish divergence and then you've got macro bearish divergence. So it could well be that this started putting in continuation divergence at the top side, weakness, and then you get the full breakdown, which would also take you back to another piece of technical analysis invented by Rocky Outcrop about the retest of impulse moves. And it's very likely then that you'd see a test of $12 and change. So $12, $14.50, $15.41, and I wouldn't be rushing to enter at prices above there. Unless, of course, price action breaks to the top side, and we've already got targets. You know what they are. If you don't, check out one of the TradeSpotting's videos. Get you covered. So that's GameStop. So do we think it's going back down again? Would that be in line with the overall market? Well, let's take a look at that. S&P 500. We're going to go with SPX. Price action come down. Test 200 period moving average on a 15-minute time frame. 4 hour. You can see still very, very bullish up here despite this pullback. Holding important levels of support on the 4-hour time frame. So it's very difficult to say that this is bearish yet. You would also say no obvious bearish divergence in the 4-hour time frame. And RSI poking its head back into the bullish control zone. But if you drop down at the hourly time frame, you can see this little channel I've scoped out here. Price action having pushed higher than its most recent high, recovered the center line on the oscillator and your own moving average, plus holding that moving average on price. very, very positive, very, very strong. But you're also meeting this linear resistance, which you find on 15-minute time frame. A couple of touches here, a couple of touches on the bottom. You could probably stretch that out a little bit. Aim for something like this. And then you're meeting an important horizontal in at around 4750. That's previous highs in around here. Previous lows was support, now resistance. This isn't necessarily a bullish leg, but it has held that 200 period moving average in 15-minute time frame. So that's quite good. And if it pushes on up, then we've got targets in around 4785. Hourly time frame suggests that we could go to this area. We drew it in. A little bit of resistance anticipated here. If you break through 4800, then I expect to see 4850, and these are quite clear and obvious targets to the top side. On the 4-hour time frame, you can look left and see the previous high, and this is why, right? This is why. Body closes and wick highs. Just ahead of that, you're reaching an 886, so could be that you've experienced a degree of volatility. Volatility says, let's go and check out that volatility index, VIX. We said that it would struggle to get back above 1450, and there it was at 1450, struggling. Yes, 1449. So, trace button does it again. 200 period moving average is now reaching the bottom side of this channel, which was support in this entire formation. So that's quite condemning. This isn't actually volatility index. It's the name given to this financial product, which is constructed in such a way that it takes account of some contracts that change in price a lot due to the nature of the way options are constructed. It measures out of the money contracts, and it's got a rolling basis for how it updates. And a lot of people on Discord learned a lot about this recently. CEO in particular in the last few months did a lot of good work on VIX. Anyway, price action resistance at 1450. You've got a rocky outcrop flashback down at $12.45. That suggests that VIX is going to come down, which would be when SPY goes up. And so we're back to the original question. Is GME going to move with the market, or is it going to fall back down again? And it could easily do those moves back down again while the market pauses, doesn't necessarily move, or as a whole day passes, it might be that GameStop for a while goes the other direction. But let's get back to GameStop. In at the 1698 close, just below $17. 200 period moving average on the 4-hour time frame comes in 1620. It'd be particularly nasty to lose that and price action then push back below 15, because you'd be losing the 50 simple before it had recovered above the 200 period moving average, and you'd say in the context of a downtrend that looks like a little bit of a rejection, and you would certainly then look for a test of the previous low. As you can see, we have these targets right now. I've not moved these. They've been on the chart for a long time, and often I'll get questions from people who dedicated GameStop investors who have been looking at these targets and saw it get to 1, waited for 2. Some of them got it at 2. Others were still waiting for 3. And now they're looking, thinking, do I get another test of 2, or do I have to buy it on this uptrend? And all the patience that they put in waiting for these lows, was that wasted? Well, on one hand, it often feels that way when our perception is that we quote unquote missed a trade. But if we missed a trade, that trade must come in the same category as every other trade in the world that we've missed, which we're missing tens of thousands of every second, because there's always a market open somewhere and there's always something moving. So just because we looked at it doesn't necessarily give us the right to profit from it. And there is lessons in that. But I think that at this point in time, it's the wrong question to be asking yourself, because your patience that allowed you to perceive this as a different risk profile subsequent to the rise in price from the previous lows in at around 1190. That patience that allowed you to wait for it, see it happen, and then ask yourself the question now is also still in play. And if price action does come back to these levels, you'll be getting the lowest possible risk, the best possible value, and the least possible time underwater. Plus, you'll have the most fun, because price action will just be going in your trade direction constantly if you get these lows. So there is always a benefit to patience. And even if that is that you take price action when it's breaking to the top side, and again, risk profile changes and it looks like it's going to keep going, that's also a perfectly adequate way to trade. It's in fact probably the better way to trade over the piece, especially if you've got a lot of trades. You would like to look at them as being very low risk. The name of the game is reducing risk. Up to the daily time frame, where you've got this important horizontal, which now meets the downward slope and resistance on this overall channel. It's been following price action for 2 years. We've also got this target here, like I talked about previously. A flash target on GameStop up around these levels. Price action, fantastic. I'll turn off the drawing so you can see the fact that the RSI holding the top side of the oscillator here. That's very positive. Having put in this low itself, bullishly divergent, as you can see here. Bullishly divergent, recovering 236, having made it all the way back to the 50% retracement, 50% from the prior high up at 27. So that's a very important area to get to, you know, a 50% retracement against the move. You consider if you give up 50% of what you've just won, right, that would be overall a little bit worrying. If you're able to take 2 steps forwards for every 1 step back, well, that would be fantastic. If you can do that consistently, wow. Imagine the uptrend, right? So price action, GameStop, very strong move to get to $18 and change here on daily time frame. As you can see, it would have been highly unlikely on the first pass you broke the 200 period moving average, which you'd be familiar with that concept if you watch TradeSpot and regular. If you did now break above it, you've got that target of 21. Prior high from the previous formation, that is the fake out area. Again, another concept, Rocky Nightcrab added. Comes in confluent with Golden Pocket Retracement. So, before I give away any more knowledge in this one show, which would then fall out the other side of your head, you know, because every time I give you a lesson, the little one says roll over. And I don't want you to lose out on any of those other pieces of magic I've given you recently. So that's what I would say GameStop's up to. I've got a good record, other people would say. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. If you hit the like button, that really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you leave a comment, even better, not just because of the algorithm, but other people in the community love to read them and get involved in funny conversations. So I appreciate it too. And I check all of the comments. So I thank you very much. And a shout out to all the different GME communities across the world, especially those who've been in this for a while. Lots of respect for your community, all of you. And as this movement has matured and the investors have developed a whole new level of education and skill set when it comes to trading, I just want to say how proud of us I am and how this sort of a movement, it's never really happened before. And who knows if it'll happen again. So spread love and positivity. Take care of each other. See you in the next show. Thanks very much.